the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords, the conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, made it known to the world that the Ethiopian Bible is supposed to consist of 72 books, not 88, not 81, neither 66. For it is written that they will add and take away from the word. Do you know in the Ethiopian 88 book version of a Bible, they don't have 12 books that's in the 81 book version? In other words, the heathens are adding to the Ethiopian original. So let's watch.
In Africa, but they've been hiding that from you. Before Christianity didn't start in Europe. It started in Africa, but they've been hiding that from you. Before cathedrals and before colonizers, Ethiopia was already preserving the word, writing prophecies, and living the faith. So why don't they teach this in church? Because the truth rewrites the whole power structure. Christianity wasn't given to Africa, it was taken from Africa. And this Bible, the Ethiopian Bible, is proof.
Notice in the Ethiopian Bible, in the first book of Maccabean, it warns us who will do that. So after Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, beat Darius, the king of Persia, he became king of Greece. So he had a very strong army that ruled over countries and nations. Then he died. Then his officers began to rule and put crowns upon their head. So they were in Rome, which is part of the Greek kingdom. They were also in Egypt and also in Jerusalem. So all those are part of the Greek kingdom, along with Asia, because Seleucus, the king of Asia, is part of the Greek kingdom, and he married the queen of Syria. So that's why it says, woe be unto thee, Babylon, Asia, Egypt, and Syria. In other words, they're all in cahoots together, and they're trying to rearrange the story. But we all know who's first.
This Bible, which is the oldest and most accurate Bible in the entire Christian world, and it exposes all the secrets the Roman Catholic Church had kept from the rest of the world for more than 400 years. It shows the pictures of Mary, Jesus, and Joseph as black. And in fact, if you travel down to Ethiopia, you come to this area called Aksum, you will have a look at not just the oldest Bible, they will unveil right before your eyes the
Ethiopians from an Ethiopian family.
Because they have all the scriptures in there. Viewers, you don't know the history of the Catholic Church. They took it upon themselves to take books out of the Bible.
Right.
And they gave you 66.
Right.
God didn't give you 66 because within the 66 there's other books mentioned.
That's right. That's right.
So I know God didn't give you 66.
That's right.
Let's see what God gave. In 1962, a new Amharic translation from Ge'ez was printed. The Haile Selassie Bible, translated from Ge'ez, not from Hebrew or Latin or anything. It came from Ge'ez because Ge'ez is the Ethiopian original, and all Bibles are translated out of the Ethiopian original tongues. There you will find Jubilees, Enoch, Book of Esdras, second book of Esdras, Tobit, Judith, Esther, the first book of Maccabean, which is similar to the Maccabees, and the second and third Maccabean. You will also find the book of Joshua, sometimes known as the son of Sirach, or in the Apocrypha, they'll call it the Ecclesiasticus. But these people like to change around the stories with the use of folklore. So the Kebra Nagus is a great storehouse of legends and traditions of purely folklore. Myth stories. The Kebra Nagus tells the story. Why? Because it's myth. Just like this. Notice the name, Dr. Jack Feldman. So this is what they do. Just like the Kebra Nagus, because according to the Kebra Nagus, Ethiopia learned how to be Christians because they went to Jerusalem. But we just noticed that Jerusalem is part of the Greek kingdom, and that's where the heathens are. So why would Ethiopia go there? In other words, this is how they change history. They want you to believe that an Ethiopian by the name of Abu Ramu visited Jerusalem. and he learned how to be a Christian from Cairo, and he traveled through Syria. So they're trying to say that the Ethiopian had to learn from them. And then he would take that knowledge back to Ethiopia. So they want you to believe that he got it from the Greek Septuagint, from the Latin Vulgate, and from the Hebrew original and the Syriac Peshitta. In other words, they're just changing up stories, just like the Codex Sinaiticus, which they found in 1844 or in the late 1800s. So a German guy claimed he found a Bible older than the Ethiopian original. But we all know the Ethiopian Bible is the oldest and most complete and original Bible in the world, written on goat skin in the early Ethiopian language of Ge'ez. In other words, Ethiopia is first. Ethiopia write the Bible. Follow God, not man.
No, don't follow them what it all. Babylon system I go far, far, far. And if that was fast, this is slow mo.